Hello my friends, and welcome to the beautiful Balls Falls Conservation Area. My name is Jenna and I'm the program assistant with the Niagara Peninsula Conservation Authority. That means that I'm in charge of all of the educational programs we run here at our sites. Now rushing behind me here is the 20 Mile Creek, kind of the gem here at our park. The 20 Mile Creek is a very important creek and it flows for hundreds of kilometers all the way from the outskirts of Hamilton before flowing over our two waterfalls here at Balls Falls and eventually leading out to Jordan Harbor and into Lake Ontario. Today I have a very exciting hike planned for us. We get to walk along our creek and we get to see the upper waterfall. That's one of our two waterfalls that we have here at Balls Falls. So get ready to join me as we go on our hike. Now before you go on any hiking adventure, my friends, it's always important that you have sturdy shoes to wear because you don't know how the terrain is going to be until you're on the trail, as well as having a nice bottle of water with you to keep yourself hydrated as we go on our hike. So come on, join me, and hopefully we'll see some awesome spring flowers and some spring animals. Let's head this way. Now along this part of our trail, you'll see many cedar trees all planted in a straight line. Now, normally trees don't come in a straight line like this in nature. They were actually planted by the early settlers here from Europe. That was the Ball family, and originally there would have been houses located along here. They're long gone now, but we still have evidence that the trees were planted by people. Let's keep going. It's so peaceful this time of year here at our park. And if you listen closely, you'll be able to hear the sounds of birds chirping in the background. That's because it's early spring and the forest is just waking up from its winter slumber as many of our animals return to their original habitats. Hopefully we'll see some. Now along our trail, you'll notice many trees have fallen down, like the ones you see beside me here. A lot of these are ash trees, and that's because our forest has unfortunately been affected by the emerald ash borer. This pesky little invasive bug likes to crawl its way inside ash trees, and the larvae that they lay like to use the trees as a yummy snack. This unfortunately kills our trees, and many of them have had to be cut down or they've fallen down as a result of the wind. But don't worry, these dead trees are going to be put to good use as fungus and other decomposers work their way to eat them up and producing soil, and we're giving that right back to the forest. Let's keep going. Here, you snake. Oh. It might be hard to see, my friends, but I've spied a garter snake in behind our tree. On sunny days like this, especially in the middle of the afternoon, you'll find snakes like our garter snakes sunning themselves in the leaves. This is great because our reptile friends are cold-blooded. They require the heat from the sun to warm themselves up. Enjoy your nice sunshine, Mr. Snake. All along our creek, you'll see areas of grass and flat land. Now, habitats like this are perfect for animals such as turtles to lay their eggs, as well as muskrats and mink to build their dens. They like being close to the creek because the tiny fish swimming are a really good food source for them. Maybe if you're very quiet on your hike, you might be able to spy one. Butterflies are another friend that have started to return to our forests. Now, one of the most popular butterflies you'll see around here in the summertime is the monarch butterfly. If you want to attract monarch butterflies to your home, planting milkweed in your garden will do wonders. That's the only food source for our monarchs. So by planting them in your garden, you're going to be helping some butterflies. Maybe we'll see some more. Small trickles and ponds like the one you see here are a great calm place for our amphibian friends to lay their eggs this time of year. If you have a small pond near your house, or if you see one out in the forest, be on the lookout for signs of tadpoles swimming around. And hopefully they'll turn into frogs that will contribute to our ecosystem. There's so much history here at Balls Falls, both the history of the people that have lived here, but also the history of the planet. Located behind me is one of my favorite spots in the entire park. And the reason why I love this place is because I love rocks. You'll see so many large boulders behind me. And a secret not known to many about this location is at one point in time, there used to be 3 waterfalls located at Balls Falls. Now, this was millions of years ago, but we can still find evidence that this waterfall existed. The horseshoe shape of this part of the park shows us that that's where a waterfall once was, because as water rushes over the rocks, that's the shape that they carve out. Another great indicator that there was a waterfall here at one point in time is located on the ground. In this case, it's a pothole. This hole in the ground here has stumped many. They've wondered what could have possibly caused this. But I'll tell you a secret. That originally started as a crack. And as the water would have been gushing and rushing over this spot, it would have brought smaller pebbles with it. As those pebbles got trapped in the crack, the rushing water would cause them to spin. As they spun and spun and spun, they would eventually carve out the rock, leaving a pothole. Now, another reason why I love this place is because there's so much nature hidden here. Because you never know what creatures you're gonna find under, say, a log or a rock. What I love doing while I'm out in the forest is I like to flip over some of our rocks and logs to take a peek to see who's underneath. No one here today, but sometimes you'll find creatures such as worms and salamanders living underneath. Now, as salamanders in particular are amphibians, it's very important that we do not touch them with our hands. They breathe through their skin. So if we touch them with our hands, those oils will get onto their skin and then they won't be able to breathe. So it's best to just take a look, but leave the nature be. And make sure if you flipped over any rocks, you put them down very gently as to not squish any of the animals living underneath. What a great stop on our hike, but let's keep going up the path, shall we? I always like to look out for holes in logs such as this one. This could be an excellent home for maybe a chipmunk or a squirrel or possibly even a snake. Well, let's leave it be. I know I wouldn't want someone to intrude on my home. Now, this time of year in the spring, many of our trees and plants are still getting ready to wake up from the winter. But one thing you will see shining bright leafy green at you from the forest floor is this plant over here. Now, this is a plant called garlic mustard. Like that pesky emerald ash borer, it's another invasive species. Garlic mustard was originally brought over with the European settlers and didn't always grow on our forests here. The European settlers would use garlic mustard for food as well as for medicine. What they didn't know is that this plant likes to take over entire forests. You'll see it everywhere, growing in almost any environment. Sometimes we like to organize garlic mustard pulls to help remove some of this plant and allow our natural plants to grow in its place. So hopefully soon we can get some of our friends like yourselves out helping us to protect nature and get rid of some of our invasive species. Now, let's do this. We have a big uphill climb, but I promise it'll be worth it. As we move along, you'll start seeing our forest change. Gone are the big tracts of trees, and instead we have amazing rocks like these ones here. You can even see the different layers that have formed over millions of years. And what I love about nature is how resilient it is. Plants like mosses and lichens love to grow in this environment. They barely need any soil to grow. They just cling themselves to the rocks and absorb the nutrients directly. Go moss! Beside me here is a popular spot for many people along our trail because we have some evidence now of our settler history. When the Ball family had originally moved and settled on this land, not only did they build the grist mill, but they also built a woolen mill. The woolen mill has unfortunately been closed for many, many years, but you can still see remnants of a wall and a window. And if you look very closely down on the ground, you'll even see bits of bright orange brick poking out from where our mill used to be. Now, I hear something loud coming up. Let's go see if we found our waterfall. And we've officially made it. Welcome, my friends, to the upper waterfall here at Balls Falls. Known as a Bridal Veil Falls, one thing you'll notice about this waterfall is that it's wider than it is tall. As well, sneaking behind me, you'll actually see water coming straight out of the cliff face. That's because that is the source of an underground river that flows parallel to the 20-mile creek all the way from Hamilton, and that water has never seen the light of day until it appears through those cracks. As you look down, you can also see millions of years of geologic history as you look at the different layers of the rocks. Now, one thing that's very neat is that when there's very few people here at our park, you can actually see animals such as beavers and raccoons enjoying a swim down at the base of our fall. Even last year, I was able to see a raccoon washing itself in the shower as it was standing underneath the waterfall. My friends, I hope you enjoyed our tour and our awesome hike up here to the falls. Hopefully you can join us soon and you learn a little bit more about water and our environment today. Until next time.